Before we get into today's episode, this one feels quite personal to me. I'm from Aberdeen and I love seeing independent businesses doing something genuinely smart for the city. So, have you heard of Sobr Bar? Sobr is based on Thistle Street and it's Scotland's first alcohol-free bar. But this isn't about deprivation, it's about atmosphere, design and having proper options when you're out. The space itself is beautiful, Art Deco inspired, warm and inviting, with all the theatre of a great bar. You still feel like you're going out, not opting out. The drinks are genuinely interesting too. Alongside alcohol-free wines, beers and cocktails, Sobr has created functional health-boosting cocktails. Drinks designed to lift you, calm you or help you wind down. You can have a great night, enjoy yourself and still wake up the next day feeling good, which feels like a very modern way to socialise. That mindset runs right through Sobr. Founder Kate Kenyon created it from her own health experience and from seeing people close to her thrive without alcohol. It's inclusive, welcoming and genuinely forward-thinking. So we're delighted to have Sobr Bar sponsoring the launch episode of the Hood podcast. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Emma.
Rosie.
Welcome to the Hood podcast.
We did it.
Yay. You did it. You did
We
it.
did it. Team
We
effort
did.
all round, for
We
sure.
did. Why did you want to start the podcast?
Well, Hood is now 7 years old and going great guns, as you know. 100% pick up for the print magazine with every issue. Sellout events, which is amazing. And obviously since Nicola came on board a couple of years ago, the newsletter and the online stuff has been doing amazingly well as well. So we decided at the end of 2025 to do a little bit of research, didn't we, Nick, into our readers, what they wanted, what we could give them more, what we were doing well, what we could improve upon. And they came back with, they wanted a podcast. Now, not for me, but Nicola is a big podcast.
Oh, I love a
You
podcast.
love a podcast. I only listen to a couple of podcasts, but I think that I understand that this is the next step for Hood and for media. So if we're growing a media brand, then we have to be a part of it. So we've spent a lot of time thinking about how it could look, how it could feel, who the guests could be, and very importantly, who the presenter should be.
Well.
And obviously, you know, we want it to feel like a real extension of Hood. So when you read the magazine, when you go online, when you read the newsletter, when you come to the events, it has to feel, the podcast has to feel the same feeling that you get when you do all those things. And that's why we asked you to come on
Well,
board.
I'm thrilled to have been asked, so thank you so much, ladies. But it does just feel like that natural progression, doesn't it? Because I have been to so many of your amazing events and I'm a reader or have been a reader and I still will be. It's just like that extension that is really important, I think, in the world of today's
cherry
media.
on the cake, as it were.
Yeah.
Well, we speak to such wonderful and inspirational people
Yes.
for our day jobs. And to bring that to life in this format is so exciting. And we've had such a great time researching who we're going to speak to and speaking to them. We won't reveal quite yet, but yes, it's been a real joy to have women that I think that our readers and audience are going to absolutely love and find real nuggets of knowledge in all areas.
Yeah, and as Hood, I think you're just so good at introducing these types of women into our everyday.
Well, I think that's what it's for. You know, it was set up so that back in 2018, I was a PR person, had been a PR, you know, my whole career, and felt that there was a gap. There was a gap for a title or a magazine that was speaking to contemporary Scottish women about the things that we were interested in, the topics that I was having, you know, conversations that I was having with friends or with women at work. And I really felt that. And I think that with this type of medium, it's a bit more long form, obviously, and we can really get to know the women that we're talking to. And I think that that's where we can introduce them in the mag for sure, but this way we get to actually get to know them a bit more, get to see what makes them tick, but also find out how they got where they are. Because no woman gets from A to B without there being some sort of, journey in between, and life can be difficult. And I wanted to know those stories. That's basically it. I'm just nosy, and I wanted to know what everybody's story was, and it's what makes me tick. I'm more than happy to be on the other side of the camera listening to the stories than sat here. But I think that that's what our readers like as well. They want to know, well, you do that. That's great. I'm really happy for you. But how did you get to do that? And what have you been through as well? Because we've all got stories running behind the scenes, haven't we? We still have to turn up to work. So it's, what makes people tick, what makes them get up in the morning, and how do they present themselves to the world?
Well, I think with the way of social media these days, people present the highlights of their life, don't
Sure.
they? We all get caught in that trap where we're swiping, we're going, oh, their life's so beautiful. What about my life? It's not quite like that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to dig behind the successful women and their stories, as you say, and just to learn actually it's normal to have bumps in the road, and
Exactly.
nothing is A to B.
One of the things that drew me to Hood is both of us have lived in London, and coming back to Scotland after living in London, that felt like a journey in itself. Both of us have that journey. I also thought when I came back, it felt like Scotland didn't have a voice for women. It didn't have a place for us to read those stories. It took me back to being a teenager when I was reading magazines and you were looking for the stockists. It's like, oh, I really like that. And you're looking for the stockists at the back of the magazine and, oh no,
Can't get that.
it can't get that. And I think that that's another thing that Hood brings to...
I hope so. I mean, I think that's what we try to do. Obviously, we've got amazing shopping now. It's a lot different from when we were, razzle dazzle and what everyone wants. But I think that we have, international representation now. You can get what you want, but it's also really important to shine a light on businesses and that women work in, right? So women work on the high street. That to me is important, that we support the high street as well as supporting the independents, because they're almost equal, right? So if there's a retail store that's filled with Scottish women working in it, I want to support that because they're employed there and they make their living there and they support their families working there. I want to support the independent brands because those people they're taking a risk. They're taking, a jump and a leap of faith into doing something that's difficult. We need to do that. We need to shine a light on these people. It can't just be, there are 5 Scottish women that are overrepresented and they get, they're seen all the time, they're heard all the time. There are thousands of women across Scotland doing such interesting things. But equally, there are women who perhaps wouldn't class themselves as extraordinary or doing anything particularly, stand out. But they are. They are.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because when I worked in London, I worked in an agency, and in the year 1999, we actually coined the term influencer, right?
Check you.
I know. What a woman. But I think that we coined it for people who were at the centre of their circle, right? This thing that we've got now is something very different, right? And it's fantastic, and hats off to all those people that do that. I think it's a really difficult job. But for example, we would call, a top makeup artist an influencer because she would create a trend, we would all follow it, right? Through the magazines, it would all filter down. But women who are part of their social circles, so perhaps they, they're the one at the school gates that people really like her shoes, or they really like her bag, or whatever that might be. Those people are influencers, right? They're opinion formers and they're tastemakers. Those women make the world go round too, right? And I think that Hood has its little place there, that if we can inspire someone or we can entertain someone or they take it away, it's supposed to be an hour from cover to cover. if you can learn something from it that you can share with a chum, that's our job then. Is we've done that. You know, that was the job that we set out to do.
And there are so many super women in everyone's little circle of friends. And I think these days, a lot of women are bad at, you know, saying, actually, I am pretty good at what I do.
We don't know how to pat ourselves on the back. And having a group of friends around you that help you do that, amazing. If we can do that through whichever medium we are working in at Hood Magazine, we are doing the job that we are hoping to do.
It's about showing women that they are amazing and actually giving them that confidence to say, yeah, I can do that.
And it's part of a community. So we're really fortunate now that the Hood community is now over 100,000 women across Scotland, which I think is pretty decent for something that was started with enough money for 3 issues, right? I mean, we've never had any funding or any investment other than Gordon Mitchell. Name check him, must do. But I think that it's one of those things that it continues to grow and gather momentum. And I think that people they speak very fondly of it. So I think we're getting it right along the way.
And what Hood is really good at, I think, is creating that community of women that's actually like a little support network.
Absolutely, which is fantastic. And they support the brand, I think, as much as we sort of support them. They turn up to events, they look amazing, they are always engaged, they're great fun.
They're multi-generational.
Which we love, don't we?
Daughters, mothers, grandmothers.
Yeah, and I think that's, well, I mean, we both know from our experience, that's really unusual in magazine publishing to be able to capture that. And that's what a lot of people ask us, oh, you know, what's the Hood demographic? And it's like a woman who either lives in Scotland or has, you know, ties to Scotland. That's it. And she's interested in the best things about this country, you know, looking as good as she can look, feeling as good as she can feel, and going to nice places and doing fun things, right? She doesn't have to have an age tied to her for that, or an economic, you know, demographic. She is who she is and she likes what she likes. And we've always tried to keep it that obviously it's free. We've tried to keep as much of the content as free as possible. So the magazine's always free, the online stuff's free, the events, you know, we keep the ticket price nice and low. But
we're conscious about the prices of the items that we're styling into the shoots or into the stories. It's very much should be accessible.
And
affordable luxury, shall we say?
Affordable luxury and feeling like yourself. You're the best version of yourself, which I love. You're also going to be introducing another side to Hood.
We are, because, you know, a podcast, a glossy magazine, an online magazine and a newsletter is not enough.
It's never enough.
So this spring, we are launching Manhood, which is a supplement, a magazine within the magazine. We found that a lot of our readers were, well, I mean, if you have a male partner, or, you know, a son or a brother, whatever that might be, a man in your house, and you look after your, you know, what you wear and how you look and how you present yourself to the world. They were asking, oh, well, what about him? You know, and actually, funnily enough, there isn't anything up here for guys either in terms of lifestyle. So we have dipped our toe in the sort of male pond before, and it was successful, but it was during COVID and it was really difficult. You know, I was working on my own and, you know, trying to then sort of expand into a whole other remit was just, it was too much. But now we've got Resource, we've got an absolute legend in menswear, Eric Musgrave, who is our editor at large. He's out there, you know, he's been to Pitti in Florence, he's, you know, speaking to brands all over the country and beyond, because Scottish guys deserve something as well, right?
There's a lot of great brands coming to Scotland and are already within Scotland. There's such amazing menswear here and amazing men.
And as you say, to have Eric there doing it, he's such a style icon, and he owns it so well. And so do you two, can I just say. Sobr Bar isn't just a bar. It's Scotland's first dedicated alcohol-free venue, created for people who want the energy of a great night out without the hangover that follows. Sobr is redefining what it means to socialise, putting connection, conversation and atmosphere first. The drinks menu features a carefully curated selection of premium alcohol-free wines, beers, ciders, spirits and cocktails, all designed to deliver full flavour with no compromises the next day. Every detail has been considered, from the Art Deco-inspired space to what's in the glass. The result is a place that feels special, welcoming and genuinely social. Whether it's a relaxed midweek catch-up or a lively night with friends, Sobr proves that great nights out don't need alcohol, just the right setting and the right company. More than a bar, Sobr represents a shift towards mindful drinking and better mornings, because enjoying yourself and feeling good the next day shouldn't be mutually exclusive. And so now I'm doing a Hood podcast and I'm just so excited about it.
Well, we're delighted to have you on board because it was something that was not going to be something that I was going to be doing. Nicola was very keen that we get this podcast
When I
started.
thought it was audio.
Yeah. Everything's on telly now, Nicola.
Audio, all good.
And we thought, right, who on earth could be, the right person to sit alongside you? And we both said, oh, Rosie has the loveliest voice and the nicest way with her. It has to be Rosie. And I actually think we maybe wouldn't have done it if you'd said no that day.
I think what's really exciting is what people can look forward to in this food podcast.
Yeah.
When we conceived it, it was about reflecting what you've been doing in the magazine since 2018, and it's style and living.
Yeah. I mean, that's the strap line on the magazine is Hood, Style and Live in Scotland. And I think that is what it's all about. So what you do for your living. So these women they do have interesting jobs, because I think I, for one, want to know what people do. They also have an interesting backstory because, again, everyone does. I don't care who you are, you've got an interesting backstory. And then thirdly, it's how they show up in the world. So how they present themselves within their job, within their life. So that doesn't mean they're head-to-toe designer. That doesn't mean that they've got the most incredible wardrobe, although some of them do. It doesn't mean that they necessarily know everything there is to know about beauty or wellness. It means that they have a certain way with them, that they understand the power of clothes, makeup, hair, because that is something that I think women have been told that it's not serious to like those things, and I've always felt that. I mean, I've always loved clothes. I've always loved makeup. I feel that it does give you a sense of, well, you're presenting who you are. It's tribal, right? And I think that it is an important thing for women, and we'll have guests on who know the power of a good shoe, right? Yes, it's not going to, make the world necessarily a better place, but for her at that time, if putting that shoe on makes her feel good about herself and helps her to get through the day, then we should be championing that. Whether or not it's a really good facial, right? Don't tell me that your skin feeling good doesn't make you feel better, because that would be a lie. And it's about sharing those hints and tips of, who do you see? Who is it that makes you feel good about yourself? Where do you go and get your hair done? Who does your aesthetics if you have them? It's opening up everyone's little black book and having a delve in there. Because I think that it does help, and it's an important part of a woman in Scotland's life is her style. Her style, not my style, not Hood style, her style. And we should be encouraging people to express themselves in the way that they want to show up.
Absolutely. And we have got some amazing guests.
We do, don't we? Oh my God.
We've fallen in love with each of them, I think.
Yeah.
It's every time we've finished, it's like,
oh my God, she was amazing.
I want to be her.
Yeah.
Very lucky to have been able to secure these women, but also for them to give us their time. And then also obviously our sponsors, because we wouldn't be doing anything without them. 2026 feels like a new era for the mag. We can't just keep going on doing the same stuff, year after year. We have to keep things fresh, mostly for my sanity. But I think, we need to do things that are, timely, And I think that that's what
this
This
is.
is.
And here we
The
are.
podcast is going to do that, and we're super excited about it. And
absolutely.
here
So
we go.
welcome on board, Rosie.
Thank you.
And
Thank
good
you.
luck with the podcast, ladies. I know I'll be
Thank-
watching and listening.
Thank you
I'm
for being our
so
guest,
excited.
sort of.
I know. Brilliant.
Amazing. Well, let's get started, shall we?
Yes.
Get started.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you.